started my lab, uh, I went and visited one of the well-known pathologists at that time. And I went to him for guidance and I told him, sir, I'm starting. Now how do I go forward and make something out of this? So he said, what is your aim? I said, well, my aim is to be the top laboratory in Bombay within 10 years, by 1990. I want to be pan-India laboratory by 2000, and I want to be international laboratory which is present in multiple countries by 2010. That's in 30 years. So he laughed and he said, you know what, in 30 years you will not be even a top lab in Bombay, because it's going to be impossible to do that. It takes 30 years for you to even develop that much. So, and he said, how do you propose to get this? I said, are you going to be giving some incentives to the doctors? I said, no. He said, then are you very good at networking, which you have to network with the doctors and make success out of it? I said, no. He said, are you great at making good friends very fast? I said, no. He said, in that case, I think I foresee a future. In 5 years, we'll find you selling chana at the chapati. And unfortunately for me, his prophecy came wrong. And just to make it clear, we were number one laboratory in Bombay in 10 years. By 2000, we were pan-India. We were almost all the place. And by 2010, we already had a presence in 13 countries across the world. So I think reference laboratory to be started in India in those days. And there were only few reference laboratories in Europe and USA. There was no such concept. So we are the first reference laboratory to start. Now it was a double-edged sword. Because when you said reference laboratory, means you are going to be doing only specialized tests. And those days, those specialized tests, the demand for those was very, very few and far. Could achieve, which actually pushed us through, in spite of all the other negative reasons which were there, was the fact that I managed to think like 2,500 hospitals and laboratories as our collection centers. I didn't have the money to put my own centers. So I went and established these as collection centers all over India. And that I think was a move which clicked, after which we never had to look back, and it has been a steady progress. So I think that was the first, we were the first reference laboratory in India. Then the second thing is, in those days, there were no specialized tests except ANA, DNS, we have one or two things which are there, not even DNA, only ANA and rare things were there. So to start all these things, I introduced in India for the first time technique of radioimmunoassay. This radioimmunoassay is a technique which you use radioisotopes and do the tests. It's mainly done for hormones, oncogens, oncomarkers, and a lot of other things, drugs and multiple various things. So we started with that. There's the first one. Then in 87 or 86, I think, I remember we started with the HIV testing. And that time there was not a single HIV case in India, because nobody was doing the test. So obviously there was no case. So I know many doctors who came and told me, he said, okay, are you mad? There is no HIV in India. That time it had just picked up in some Western countries. He said, there is no HIV here. Why are you starting this test here? Why are you wasting your money? But again, I think you have proven right, and now you know what is the extent of HIV which is there. IVF baby, test tube baby in India in private sector. It was a team of Dr. Sadhna Desai and Dr. Meru Ansodia, in which I was doing the pathology part and Dr. Amrish Dalal was doing the radiology part. So we were the team who got the first test tube baby in India. And today, of course, as you know, IVF is like every alternate building you find an IVF clinic now. Molecular biology in 1991, when it was in a very, very nascent stage across the world. It had just started everywhere, and we were the first to start that in 91. Our laboratory is accredited with CAP. CAP is an accreditation called College of American Pathology, which is the highest accreditation in the world. And this accreditation is given after very stringent inspection and very stringent rules. So not only we are CAP accredited since that time, but during our second or third inspection, which was there for renewal, we passed the CAP with no NC. NC means it's a non-compliance. And when you say non-compliance means there are few things which as per the CAP rules are lacking. So we passed without single NC. And I think this is very credible because one of the inspectors only told us that there is no laboratory in the world which passes CAP with no NCs. So it was something which was a suddenly burst on the scene. And here, we were getting 25,000 tests a day. And you'd be surprised to know that within few days, in a very short time, we coped up and we continued to do 25,000 tests a day. We managed to establish the infrastructure, the staff training, managing the workload, getting the reports out, everything. We managed 25 from what we had a capacity of 7,825,000. Patient centers. We have 130 plus full-fledged laboratories. Mind you, all these laboratories are our own. There are no franchisee laboratories. They all belong to us. Not a single one is a franchisee. We have a test menu of over 5,500 tests, which is probably one of the largest test menu in the world. And we have a workforce of 5,500 people. So I think we have really done a yeoman service and we have managed to come to the level what any international laboratory would be. You know, there is a awards called Entrepreneur of the Year by EY, Ernst & Young. This is not something which not many know. Now, this is the highest industry award which is there, one of the highest industry awards and a very prestigious one. And the recipient of these awards have been actually all who is who of India, like Ratan Tata, Mukesh Ambani, Kumar Mangalam Birla, Mr. Munjal, Uday Kotak, everybody. I mean, all the top people that you know have been the recipient of this award. But there are only two institutions in India where the recipient of this award are not one but two people from the company. Never it has happened. One is Tata's, where the first award was given to Mr. Ratan Tata, the second one to Mr. Chandrasekhar, who is now existing managing director and the CEO. The second is Metropolis, where I got in 2011, and my daughter got Mamila Shah. So we are the only two companies who got two awards.